Before we dive in, let me leave you with a truth that echoes across every chapter in human history. Nothing we are began in silence. Every civilization, every story, every ancestor left a trail of wisdom waiting to be rediscovered. What you are about to hear is a part of a legacy, preserved, decoded, and brought back to the forefront. I'm OG Mooney. Welcome to AI Legacy Lab.
Before Egypt carved its name into stone, before pharaohs ruled the Nile, and long before the world spoke of empires, there rose a kingdom older than them all. A kingdom built by black hands, on black soil, under a black sun. This was Kerma, the first giant of Nubia, and the foundation of all that came after. Our story begins beside the great curve of the Nile, where the river sliced through the desert heat, creating a lifeline of rich black soil. The land was harsh, the sun unforgiving, but the people of Kerma were shaped by difficulty and sharpened by survival. They built their homes from sun-dried brick, fawned the furrowed banks of the Nile for life, and crafted tools, weapons, and pottery with an artistry that revealed a civilization already thinking far ahead of its time. Slowly, century by century, this community grew from a collection of settlements into an organized, powerful African state. And at the very center of Kerma stood a massive, awe-inspiring structure known as the Western Tefufa. This wasn't just a building. It was a statement. A towering mud brick monument, unlike anything else in the ancient world. Imagine a solid temple, 3 stories high, built nearly 4,500 years ago, without the stone-cutting technology of their Egyptian neighbors. Inside its thick walls were ceremonial chambers where sacred rituals took place, shaping Nubian identity for more than 1,000 years. The Tefufa alone proves that Kerma was not primitive, not simple, and certainly not beneath any of its neighbors. It was a nation with a deep spiritual core and undeniable architectural genius. Kerma didn't just survive, it thrived. Strategically positioned, it controlled some of Africa's most valuable trade routes. Gold flowed from the mines deep in the south. Ivory, a symbol of wealth and power, came from the vast savanna. Exotic woods, animal skins, and fragrant incense traveled through caravans that stretched across the continent. Every one of these valuable resources passed through Kerma's hands, and its rulers used that immense wealth to build a kingdom capable of standing toe-to-toe with the mighty power to the north, Egypt. For Egypt, Kerma wasn't just a trading partner or a neighbor, it was a rival, a genuine threat. For generations, these two powerful nations clashed along the Nile. Battles erupted on riverbanks, across scorching deserts, and at the gates of fortified walls. And in many of these conflicts, it was Kerma that stood victorious. Ancient Egyptian records, the very texts written by their enemies, described the Nubian archers with a mixture of fear and respect. Their accuracy was legendary, their bows powerful. Their formations were disciplined and deadly. These were not hired soldiers. They were highly trained defenders of a kingdom determined to remain free and independent. They were known throughout the ancient world as the Tayseti, the land of the bow. But life in Kerma wasn't just about war and trade. Inside the city walls, life moved with a unique culture, rhythm, and social order. The people honored their ancestors through incredibly elaborate burial rituals. At the heart of these ceremonies was the sacrifice of cattle. In the graves of nobles and kings, archaeologists have found not just 1 or 2, but sometimes dozens, even hundreds of cattle buried alongside them. Each horn, each carefully placed body, was a powerful symbol of wealth, social status, and spiritual passage into the afterlife. These burial sites reveal a society with strong, complex spiritual values and a deep belief in a world beyond this one. They weren't just burying their dead. They were ensuring their eternal journey was one of honor and prestige. As Kerma's influence expanded, it absorbed smaller communities and villages, uniting them under one centralized system. This wasn't a loose collection of tribes. This was a kingdom structured, organized, and fully formed long before many of the civilizations we study in school even existed. It had a capital city, a ruling class, a standing army, and a sophisticated economy. Kerma was a true African superpower, a testament to the ingenuity and resilience of its people. However, the shadow of Egypt loomed large. The immense wealth of Nubia was a constant temptation. The gold, the ivory, the control of trade, it was too much for the pharaohs to ignore. After centuries of back-and-forth conflict, Egypt's new kingdom launched a series of relentless military campaigns. Through overwhelming force, cunning strategy, and sheer persistence, Egypt eventually conquered Kerma. The great city fell, its power broken. Yet even in defeat, Kerma was not erased. Its spirit, its culture, and its people endured. They became the root of a new rising power, the kingdom of Kush. And Kush, drawing on the legacy of its Kerma ancestors, will grow strong enough to one day turn the tables completely. In an incredible twist of history, the kingdom of Kush will conquer Egypt, with its rulers becoming the 25th dynasty, the celebrated black pharaohs who govern the entire Nile Valley, from the heart of Africa to the Mediterranean Sea. Kerma was their ancestor, their foundation, their beginning. The story of the black pharaohs starts right here. Today, if you travel to modern-day Sudan, the ruins of Kerma remain in the desert, quiet but unbroken. The western Defufa still stands, a silent monument against the sky. The sprawling burial mounds still speak of a society rich in culture and faith. And the history, once buried under the sand, now echoes across the landscape. Kerma was not a footnote in Egypt's story. It was not a forgotten chapter of world history. Kerma was the spark that lit the flame of Nubian civilization, a powerful black kingdom that shaped Africa's ancient legacy for millennia. This is Kerma Old, Powerful, and Eternal. Thanks for watching. If you want to uncover more hidden histories and lost civilizations, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We have so many more stories to tell. See you next time.
Another chapter reclaimed, another piece of history placed back where it belongs. If you have found any meaning in this, let it sit with you. Let it sharpen your vision, not just for the past, but for who we are becoming. I'm OG Mooney, and this is AI Legacy Lab. Honoring truth, protecting legacy, one story at a time. Until next time, stay curious.